Comedy Film Festival. Here I am, and we are here to talk with Katelyn McCulloch, who's coming down from Canada to Austin to check out the festival March 26th, and we're going to be at Austin Film Society Cinema. You're going to see every type of comedy that you can imagine. Comedy series episodes, funny music videos, comedy films, romantic comedy, dark comedy, sketch comedy, horror comedy, you name it. The only criteria is, are you going to be laughing when you watch this stuff? And that's our only goal. And we got a funny film because Katelyn is nominated for the Best International Director Award for Meg Writes a Reference Letter. What's up?
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, it's fun to have you on here and talk about your film. I love this one. I don't want to ruin it, though, by giving away the synopsis and giving away too much. I'm going to ask you, in your own words, what is this movie about?
So, Meg is tasked with having to write her own reference letter. And so, in a reference letter, when someone's like, hey, write nice things about yourself. So, Meg is trying to say all these amazing qualities about herself, but ultimately trying to do that brings out the worst side of her, and it leads to an existential crisis. So, she blows it all out of proportion and things get a little bit wacko.
The performance is great, and to be able to put all this emotion in and just act this out the way she does without someone else to play off of is really fun. What motivated you to just make this story?
Well, I actually had to write my own reference letter once where someone's like, "Oh yeah, you do the first draft and then I'll, punch it up after." And I was like, "No problem. Let me just try to say nice things." Then you're like, do I sound too egoic? Do I sound like an asshole? Do I sound, and then you start running down, like your brain starts going crazy. So I had the idea and I wrote the script, and then Maddie Foley, who stars in the film, I couldn't get her out of my mind to star in it. She's a brilliant improviser and actor. And we met at Second City in Toronto. And then also Becky Swanick, who is the cinematographer, the editor, VFX. All of us took a part in helping to write it. She was also at Second City with us doing the improv conservatory. So I thought of the two of them. So we all partnered together and we were like, let's get together and make this female-driven comedy, which was also something we were super passionate about because we're chicks who like to laugh. And that's just what we want to make art about. So that's how this all came about.
Well, thank you for bringing that energy to Austin. And I hear that you're coming with friends. You ready for a week in Texas?
I'm already apologizing to Texas in advance for these three Canadian girls. Maddie, Becky, and I are all going to be there. We're going to eat a lot of food. We're probably going to get in trouble, PG trouble. It'll be super fun. We're excited to meet all the other filmmakers and just spend a full day in a movie theater, having some beers, watching some movies.
Nice. I tell you, there's so many good restaurants in Austin. It's like pace yourself, like pace yourself here and there because you want to like get a little taste of everything. We're happy to have you. Love to have snowbirds coming down from Canada. This will be a fun
That's
time.
what it's wet and cold here, especially end of March. So we're like, girls, we're going to Texas.
Well, you're going to see a lot of fun films. Everybody wants to see yours, but you're going to see a great lineup of movies. And your film really stands out. The judges, have all rated, all your scorecards were 9 and above. Not a single bad scorecard at the house for your film. You earned it, Best International Director, and it gave everybody a good laugh. It made everybody kind of cheer in our judging sessions. And we see the finished product and we know how cool it is. But can you tell us if you learned anything from this film?
This film, so we actually had to shoot this movie twice. So we made it and we were all learning together. We just got together at Becky's apartment, ordered some pizza, had a great script, had our, experience of improvising and working together in the past. We shot the movie and then we lost the whole film. It was a freak accident. When people ask me to describe it, I'm like, I'm not a technical girl. So I was like, you'll have to ask Becky, our DP, but it was just like a freak accident. Our hard drive just like poof before we had a chance to even back it up. So we were like, all right, there was that moment where you could have just given up. And I was like, no, let's do it again. We were all learned a lot the first time around. And I'd say the biggest thing that I learned is really the process in the way the three of us work. So I love Christopher Guest movies. I love, even Judd Apatow speaking about using improv in his filmmaking practice. So we did a lot of that in this movie. So there's a script where we have a strong container, but Maddie is improvising on camera. I'm throwing out new prompts. Becky is as well behind the camera, we're always improvising away from the structure that we put in place, but it's because we have that strong container, then we're like, okay, we know we're grounded in what we want to capture, and then we are free to follow our impulses, and make something that's even better than we imagined. So it was a lot of learning, but we definitely have a groove as a filmmaking team now.
I didn't know the lost footage story. That's new, and I
Yeah.
heard that from a filmmaker a year ago, and they had a 16-minute film that they lost everything, and they were FedExing it to the editor or something. They
Oh,
had to reshoot it, but they said the same thing you did. They said it was a heartbreak, but then the new product and the reshoot was even better. And they got into a lot of festivals. So it's like, I see you get into a lot of festivals. So there must be some magic. Everybody shoot your film twice. That's
do it twice. Well, I think, in indie filmmaking, there's no money or very little money, and there's not time to rehearse because everyone's, lending their time and talent. So it just gave us a rehearsal. And even for me as a director of the piece, I was able to think about the footage because I couldn't look at it, but think about what we had shot and just think, how can I make that funnier, more interesting? What's a more interesting angle for us to capture this moment? And all of us got to do that, myself, Becky, and Maddie. So when we came back to it, we were like, damn, we're good. We had to really mess up first, but now we're really good.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys came out of it. Just with success, you continue to just run through the film festival circuit. The judges at all of our events love your work. You have history with us. You're an alum. You're old school. So
Damn,
we
great.
appreciate having you again. And last question for me really is, what are you working on next? What's going on?
Yes, so I've had a great couple of years of making short films, and I have another short film, a rom-com called I Don't, that's just starting its festival circuit, but I'm really branching out into long form and working towards my first feature film. And also, Meg writes a reference letter. We are spinning it off into a digital series. So we're developing that right now, and writing our pilot and putting together a pitch deck. And there's different show ideas and longer form projects that I'm really digging into because I love making short films and I love going to festivals and meeting other filmmakers, but I definitely feel ready to make that next step in terms of tackling a story and a project longer than that 10 to 15 minutes.
All right, good stuff. Well, thanks again for your time today. Is there anything you want to add before we go?
Just so excited to come to Austin. I'm sorry in advance for all the energy we're going to bring down there. And huge thank you to all the judges for all the different festivals you guys run. It's such an honor to be a finalist for Best International Director. It feels so nice. A lot of the work, we do as filmmakers, especially as a director, it's kind of lonely. You're the only person who's with the project from the very beginning to the very end. So when it is acknowledged, it does mean so much. It's such a boost of motivation to keep on fighting the good comedy fight. So thanks so much to you and all the judges.
Thank you. Appreciate the inspiration you set for other filmmakers, and love the energy. Please bring it.
Oh,
So,
it's
and
coming. It's coming.
have a good one, Katelyn. Thank you.
Thank you.